Hello everyone, I'm the Weather Dude. Welcome back, and today we are talking about a major winter storm Xylia, and the many impacts that's going to bring to the United States. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Stay tuned and enjoy. Before we get started with the video though, if you guys have not already, please consider subscribing. It really does help my channel grow. I want to thank you guys so much for 2,000 subscribers. We've flown past, and hopefully we can hit our next goal of 3,000 subscribers soon. And also, to help this video reach more people, please consider liking and sharing it as well. And let's get into the video now. So this video will basically be yesterday's video that I did about the severe weather, but times 3. We're going to talk about the snow aspect with this, we're going to talk about the flooding aspect with this, and we're also going to talk about the severe weather aspect in that order. So we're starting off with our section about the snow, because I'm almost tempted to say that this will be like the most impressive part of the system, because this is going to be like a lot of snow. It's going to be historic for a lot of places. I know what you're thinking, like the Rockies regions are used to getting a lot of snow, but 20, 30, 40 inches plus is still a lot of snow, right? I mean, whether you live in the mountains or not, you have to think about that as well. So here we have, starting out with the GFS model, all right, as you can see, now the GFS is going particularly bullish. You can see, like, the pink is really heavy snow, but when you get into those lighter pinks, we're talking like several inches of snow per hour kind of snowfall rates, like the stuff you really don't want to be in at all. And that's going to sit there and wind up, and it's still going to be going through Monday, right, like a Saturday through early Monday kind of event here, and then the storm kind of whisks itself away, all right? So here we have the totals. Now the GFS is going to go particularly bullish. I'd say there's about a 99% chance that areas won't get this much snow, right? Or say I see 90 inches, I see 70, 80, no. Like in the tallest peaks, maybe 40 or plus, right? But not, I really highly doubt there's going to be 90 inches of snow, right? You'll see more models as well, but there will definitely be a lot. I'm not saying there won't be a lot. There could definitely be a couple feet, a few feet in some localized regions. All right, so up next is the European model. All right, now again, the snow does start to come in Saturday morning. Then Saturday afternoon, I would say it's starting to get going a little bit more, not in full force, by probably overnight, Saturday into Sunday, it'll be like more, like you can see now it really starts to fill in full force. We got that little line of severe weather we'll talk about later on in the video. You can see overnight Saturday and through Sunday, there is your snowfall, very heavy at that, right? And there still are some magentas, right? Western Nebraska will be a big deal for you guys too. So definitely be on the lookout if you're in Nebraska. If you're in South Dakota, you're going to get a lot. And then some snow showers hanging around for your day on Monday. Maybe a little piece hanging through on Tuesday as well. A little area of snow showers still hanging around for Tuesday. All right, so European model, how much snow are we thinking? Probably this looks a lot more realistic. There will be some areas, some patches that could get around 3 feet up in southeastern Wyoming, but mostly it's that 18 to 30 inches of snow, or 20 to 30 inches of snow, which I do think is a lot more reasonable, very accurate as a matter of fact. So European model, in my opinion, is a better depiction than the GFS was, especially since GFS was saying 90 inches. Next model we have is the Canadian, excuse me, not European. And you can see Saturday afternoon, the snow is starting in Colorado. All right, now this won't be like a full-fledged, snow throughout the entire, like the central southern U.S. like we were seeing. It's not going to be that kind of snow. The snow will mainly be in the Rockies and parts of the northern plains. But you can still see the snow is still winding. Look at the magentas we see on the map here. Full force here, the storm is on Sunday morning. The pinks are still hanging around through the afternoon hours on Sunday. All right, even through later Sunday, and then by early Monday starts to whisk itself out of here. But look into Iowa. We have a really full-fledged snowstorm there for Iowa as well. So that'll be interesting. That's a few days out there. We still got till early next week for that. All right, and then the snow does kind of wind out. Maybe a little piece comes through Tuesday into Wednesday, but that's not attached to the system, so we won't count that. So we have our snow totals here. According to the Canadian model, still a lot, right? Up in Wyoming, they're calling for 60 inches. Again, a little high, but I definitely do agree, 20, 30, over 30 plus in this zone right here, and more, except not as widespread. Like, they think like this model does point out like 30, 40 inches of snow everywhere from western Nebraska through southeastern Wyoming. I don't think it's going to be as widespread, but there will be some areas that do get above 30, even above 40 inches of snow. I definitely would not be surprised. I just don't think the areas that see that snow will be that widespread, if you will. All right, next, our last model, we're talking about the snow here, is the NAM model. All right, so here's a NAM model. You can see the snow is moving around here. We got, it's pretty much, once the low moves up into this region, it's going to sit there and spin around, all right, because we got the stalled front up in the Midwest here as well, all right. So that rain over there that we're going to talk about coming up, that rain over there won't end until this storm can come in and whisk the front away, all right. So the low will be sitting here for a little while, all right. This won't be lasting for days upon days, but still, this will be lasting latter half of your Saturday all the way through early Monday. So, I mean, we're talking a good 36 hours for some people, maybe even a little bit more in some isolated spots. So you can see through Monday morning, that's as far as the NAM goes. Of course, the NAM goes at 84 hours, and then that's the snow we have there. And for the NAM, now, usually a NAM is a model to go bullish on the snow, and I don't know if it's because it only goes out 84 hours or if it's just because they're calling for less. But still, a couple feet of snow, actually, but they shifted a lot farther north. They're putting the 18 to 24 plus, or 18 to 30 up in western, northern Nebraska, right? Southern and central South Dakota and eastern Wyoming. And then maybe upwards of a foot for Colorado. Yeah, a foot doesn't even sound like much anymore, does it? Right? But it all depends, of course, on the track of the low. Of course, I definitely think there's a lot more model confidence in the heaviest snow being in western Nebraska, southeastern Wyoming, and Colorado, kind of like this. I definitely think at this point that's what looks most likely. All right. And our final map before we head on until our flooding segment, where we're going to see the flooding rain. All right. Flooding rain and severe weather, we're going to talk about two different places, by the way. They won't be the same region. All right. Now, this basically is just like the probability of snow. And this isn't actually, let me change it to 48 hours. I think that actually might be better. I just think that since this is lasting more than 24 hours, that this will be more accurate. So we switched to the 48-hour graphic here. This is the chance of seeing a foot or more. And you can see anywhere, I would say, in that very, very light blue, like that, I kind of know, that's not really teal, but like that very light blue and higher, right? That's where you have a greater than 70% chance of seeing a foot or more of snow. All right, that's a pretty big region. And even just west of Cheyenne, there's a 95+% chance that we will see over a foot of snow. And that's how confident. Even 18 inches, right? Still got a pretty high probability. Even 2 feet in southeastern Wyoming and northern Colorado, there's upwards of an 80-85% chance that we could see over 2 feet of snow. So the probabilities are there. And then chance for 30 inches, not out of the question at all. I mean, seriously, look at the darkest blue is 40 to 50. The medium blue here you see is 50 to 60. And then you can see just west of Boulder, 60 or around just over 70% chance of seeing 30 inches or more. So a lot of snow for sure. All right. Now we are moving on to the flooding segment. And for this, we're going to be looking at kind of like the Ohio Valley region, kind of like near the Mississippi River, like in this region right here, as where this will be the heaviest of rainfall. This is where we're going to see it. All right. And then after this will be the severe weather segment. So here we go. And it's kind of like a training of storms. Again, we pretty much have a draped out front here. All right. I'm going to do my best to draw a stalled front very quickly. All right. So there's your stalled front kind of draped across. And where that stalled front sits, right, is you can see, look at the bouts of rain that just keep moving through, right? Now, the only good thing I can really think of is that, well, for one, as you'll see in a little bit, some areas in this zone are a little bit below average for precip, and also it won't be raining, like even though this will last for the next couple days, for the next few days, it won't be raining 24/7, every single day, right? It won't be like raining all the time. You will get some small breaks, all right? So that's the only other good news I could find. All right, so look at Saturday. This is earlier on Saturday. We still got rain. Southern Missouri, as you'll see by the models, I think Southern Missouri is where we can see the heaviest rainfall. But again, it all depends on whether it's heavy. Like, what a snowstorm, where are the heaviest bands set up, right? It's the same thing with a rainstorm. Where are the heaviest bands of rain set up? Same thing for like a hurricane as well. And then, now, as this lifts north, you can see this is like the really heavy rain. This is where, like, this is the remnants of the severe weather that's coming from the south down here that I'll talk about later in the video, right? Now, by the time it moves north, I feel like it's moving to a cooler pocket of air. I feel like it's not as conducive an atmosphere for severe weather. So this will probably just turn into a lot of heavy rain, but you can still see some thunder and lightning, and that could still be very dangerous, right? And then once that front, if you will, kind of squeezes through, right, and even some freezing rain for Chicago, according to the GFS model here, but once that rain pushes through later in the day, Monday, southern Missouri, and similar regions will clear out. Right, then the final push comes into Indiana, and then it's all done. All right, by the time we head into our Tuesday, so this will be lasting a while. All right, don't get me wrong. Total rainfall. I was getting ready to say snowfall. Excellent. Total rainfall here looking like anywhere in this gold region, 4 to 7 inches. Like 7 is the highest I can find. All right. Like I see 6.5 here for northern Kentucky. I see a 7.07 there in southern Missouri. So 4 to 7 inches of rain. That is a lot of rain. And even inside the red zone is where we could see greater than 2 inches of rain, which is still a lot. Now, that's why you really don't see too many flash flood watches out right now, because this will be happening over an extended period of time, right? Where it's not just, rain's coming down very quickly and heavily. I mean, it could come down heavily and quickly, but it's going to be happening over a greater span of time. So that's why we have flood watches in most areas as opposed to flash flood watches. But still, 4 to 7, 4 to 8 inches of rain, that is still a lot of rain. All right, definitely. All right, so here we are on our next model. We have our European model now. And again, the stall front pretty much sets up right here. We got rain from Oklahoma to Pennsylvania here, or western PA. And you can see wave one of rain comes in. And then really this is when the most precipitation will probably fall. It's like a gust front of heavy rain, even some thunderstorms coming through overnight Sunday and through early Monday. This could be a pretty significant area of precipitation. But the good news with that kind of line is once it comes through, we do clear out. All right. Now, GFS model is saying we could see some rain come back on Tuesday. European model is saying that, but to a lesser degree. Like, they put the final wave of rain farther south, whereas the GFS had it up here. All right, so it does all depend, again, on the track of that low as well. So here's a European model total forecast. Now, you can see GFS, remember, had like 4 to 7 inches of rain in parts of western Kentucky. European only has like 2 to 4 for that region. Still a lot. European puts the 4 to 6, 4 to 7 inch totals in extreme southeastern Kansas, southern Missouri, and the northwestern part of Arkansas. All right. Next model is the Canadian model. All right. I think all these models are, I wouldn't say they're agreeing, but I'd say they all have a fairly accurate prediction, right? None of them seem too unreasonable. Now, Canadian just puts the snow a lot farther south, and even an area of mix in central Illinois there, where none of the models even do that before. Chicago, if the Canadian model happens to be right, Chicago could get a little bout of snow, right? But you can see wave one of rain comes in. All right, we have the rain coming through now, right? It moves through Sunday through Monday. You get that like band of rain, that more gust front, all right? And then it all clears up by Tuesday into Wednesday. Canadian, they go a little lighter on the snow on the rainfall totals. Still 4 to 6 inches of rain in southern, central, and southeastern Missouri, but that's really about it. Most areas outside of that, like Kentucky's only got about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. And while most of the Midwest in here probably see about 2 to 4, and then 4 to 6 within there. All right. Last model, before we go into a few more maps about the flooding scenario, and then we're going to jump to severe weather for the final part. So NAM model, here we go. Here you can see the rain comes through, right? Sunday, Monday, we get another batch. Now again, this only goes out 84 hours. So that's as far as we can go. Still some snow dynamics showing for western Iowa. So Iowa, definitely keep your heads up. All right, rainfall totals still, even though they only go out 84 hours, still that area of 4 to 7 inches right there in southeastern Missouri. So south central, southeastern Missouri, probably where you're going to see the heaviest of the rainfall, just looking at all these models combined together. That's what I would think. Now, bad news. Now, I did say that I'll show you the precipitation map right after this one. There are some river gauges. I don't know if you can tell what this is, but this is, I'm going to highlight here, what the Kentucky and Missouri border. We got Iowa, or excuse me, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri's over here. So right along the Mississippi River area, right, you see there's a lot of river gauges in this area with orange and red dots, which means they're already in minor to moderate flood stage, and more rainfall on top of that will be very bad. But as you can see with this map here, right, this is the past 30-day precipitation. South central Missouri, right, we're seeing a good, we're going 1 to 3 inches of rainfall precipitation below average. However, in Arkansas and Kentucky, that is not the case. So if the rain does make it a bit further south, to these areas don't really need the rainfall. Any place that's above average for rainfall really doesn't need the rainfall, right? They'd rather have it sunny. And whoever's below average probably wants the rainfall. All right, so now we're going to jump to our severe weather. All right, so this is day 2 convective outlook. We're going to jump to tomorrow here, where a good, I'd say over 6 to 6.5 million people could be under the gun for severe weather. And that's 6.5 million people, not just highlighted in color, but it's 6.5 million people within this dark green or yellow region. So yeah, 6.5 million people live there. I know, it's pretty astonishing. 137,000 square miles. All right, the particular highest threat will be the Texas Panhandle and parts of the eastern Oklahoma Panhandle. Tornado threats will be possible, all right? I don't want to say the percentage because I know 2% sounds like 0, but I want to put out there it's possible, right? Like these two colors, 2 and 5% would be like possible, and then 10 to 30 would be like moderate, and then 40, 60 or higher, that would be like the high threat, right? Wind threats, we're going to have a higher threat of wind, a medium threat of wind within this same zone right here. That was just under slight risk. And then hail, also a medium threat within that same zone, right? Texas Panhandle, Eastern Oklahoma Panhandle, and just Central Oklahoma as well could be in the greater threat. All right. So here we have our day 3 outlook. So this is heading into Saturday, right? And this is 5.5 million people yet still, right? Slight risk is more. It's a lot more square mileage, 180,000 square miles as opposed to 130. All right, OKC is in it this time. Dallas, you're in it as well. Later in the night, and then we jump to Sunday. So Saturday night into Sunday, this moves through Dallas, all right, and then in through the Ozarks, into Arkansas, into Missouri. The same areas. This is Sunday. This is the same areas that we just had or we are currently going to see the rainfall, and that's 9.7 million people. All right. So that is your severe weather outlook there for the Storm Prediction Center. Now we're going to jump to some models. All right, so here we are starting off with our GFS model here, and as you can see, didn't mean to do that. So here we have the precipitation. You can see it's starting out pretty isolated, right? We do see some thunderstorms kind of spinning around there. Remember, Saturday or Friday, I should say, it's going to be the Oklahoma and Texas Panhandle, right? So let me jump to that. This is Friday. All right, this is Friday straight right here. Saturday, it kind of moves through more towards Central Texas and Central Oklahoma, and then Sunday it moves through the Ozarks. All right, so here we are on Saturday, right? You can see the lines already. Look at that line. Like, that's a pretty powerful line. Remember, this is just simulated radar. This is just simulating what it could look like. All right, and you can see the line continues to move through. This is now into early Sunday. The line still looks like it's going strong here. All right, surface-based CAPE. How much CAPE could we have? Right, the joules per kilogram. How much instability could we have? Look at this particular freeze frame right here. It does worry me because now we're going closer to 2,000 joules per kilogram within that area of western Texas. Not particularly high, no, but we're originally calling for closer to 1,000 joules per kilogram. Now we're talking about 1,700, so a little higher, a little more instability. Could certainly kind of throw a monkey wrench into things, right? Make it a little bit worse because we need that heat instability to feed into those thunderstorms. Now, here we are at the wind shear now. Now, this is very important because I'm going to kind of be switching back and forth between maps because I want to show you guys, all right? I want to show you guys because the shear, if the wind shear, the strongest shear arrives as the precipitation is still falling, right? When that band is still over you, that's when you can get those turning of the winds. That's when you can get the higher tornado threat, right? So let's go back to the precipitation loop, right? So this is hour 66. This is Sunday at 8 a.m., all right? And then this is the wind shear. Now, this is the area right here. I'm going to highlight this band. All right, this is very important. This is the band where we're going to see the precipitation. And look at the shear, right? In this zone right here, we see the red, which is the higher wind shear combined with the precipitation and the clouds that are still over you, right? Because you can see a good chunk of the wind shear is coming after the precipitation is over, but some of it, the eastern flank of that strongest shear, could arrive while the clouds are still over us, and that's very bad news. All right, you're going to get the wind shear, you're going to get the strong winds at the surface, you're going to get the hail and the tornadoes if you get turning of the winds with height, which I'm going to show you as well. Supercell composites, right? Chance for some supercells. Watch out, there could be some chances for development. You can see near the Mexico border for some supercells to spawn up. Like there's it right there, right? This is a scale, again, that goes up to 50. And in terms of, if we put it in terms of percentages, we're around a 13 out of 50. All right, so that's still, that's greater than 20%, around 22% if I had that roughly estimate. All right, so there's your supercell composite. All right, there could be a chance for the supercells all the way through Sunday. Now this, if you watched my severe weather video from yesterday, you will definitely recognize this. This represents the turning of the winds with height. All right, so I'm going to go to Sunday morning so I can show you guys. All right, let me show you a good example right here. So notice how the winds, the red bars, winds come out of the surface, are coming out of this way. The blue is 5,000 foot winds, and they're coming out of this way. And that turning of the winds with height is what creates the spinning and the tornadoes. Notice behind the line of storms, right? The winds from the surface and 5,000 feet come out the same direction. And that's because we get that westerly flow behind the system, and the severe weather threat would end from there. All right, so here we have the European model now. All right, look at the line of storms, right? I'm going to highlight, once again, I'm going to highlight the area, and then I'm going to go to the wind shear map. All right, the same wind shear map. Let me go to that real quick. All right, and there you go. Right there, you can see the shear. Let me actually go to, let me see, let's go out 60 hours. There you go. So some dark purple and some red. So some strong shear could be there when even though the majority of the strongest shear will be there behind the band of storms. If the wind shear does arrive when the band of storms is still here, that is very bad for severe weather. All right, NAM model now we're talking about, right? Now, I will say the simulated radar has been a little bit more like, again, like I said in the last video, not as enhanced, but you can still see now they're highlighting an area of yellow with the surface low sticking right there, so that's really bad. All right, you got to get that low, you're going to get more wind flow into the system as well. That's really going to be bad for severe weather. All right, if we look at the surface-based CAPE, as you can see, look at that. Right, we got joules per kilogram going, close to, if not over 2,000, and significant tornado parameters, chances for significant tornadoes, right? And there's yellow and orange, that's like your moderate to high threat. So definitely want to watch out, definitely want to stay safe. Stay tuned for updates. I am the Weather Dude, signing off. Till next time, I will catch you guys in the next video.